The condition of the crop overall is pretty good. We've received a little bit of moisture in the form of snowfall here in the Great Plains, but topsoil moisture is still very limited. We're going to need some moisture in the next few weeks to carry us through. We're entering a phase of growth where we're coming out of dormancy. We're going to enter a period of fairly rapid growth, and that's when we're going to use up that soil moisture fairly quickly. Now that's for the central area of Oklahoma, the primary wheat production area. In western Oklahoma, southwestern Oklahoma, it's exactly the same as it was last fall. Extremely dry, just barely hanging on, and if we don't get some moisture on that crop very quickly, it could be gone. The recent cold snaps should not have any lingering impacts on our wheat crop. You'll see some tissue damage out there. It's going to look a bit ragged coming out of the recent cold snap, but there should not be any permanent injury other than perhaps maybe some injury on some very small wheat that was late planted. We've been cold enough this winter that we have not seen the growth that we normally would in a typical winter in the southern Great Plains. So as a result, we're a little behind schedule. We're not even jointing yet in most of our wheat, and it's still at a stage where the cold injury is cosmetic mainly. Normally, by the first week of March, about half of our varieties are at first hollow stem in our sentinel plots here at Stillwater. This year, as of March 6th, the first week of March, we did not have any varieties at first hollow stem. I anticipate with the temperatures warming into the 60s and 70s and with the little bit of moisture that we had from our recent snowfall that some of our varieties will reach first hollow stem by next week, the second week of March. But we're a good 2 weeks behind normal. So where I think we will be is that in southern Oklahoma, the early and medium and even some of our late varieties are probably at first hollow stem or almost there. Central Oklahoma will be there by the second week of March. Northern Oklahoma, we're going to be at first hollow stem probably the second to third week of March, which is a good 2 to 3 weeks behind normal. This could be a year, however, with our farmers, since we are reaching first hollow stem so late, that we might not want to wait on first hollow stem. We have limited topsoil moisture. We need to rebuild that green canopy before we go into heavy reproductive growth. So this could be a year where we want to go ahead and pull those cattle before first hollow stem. First hollow stem is the guide that we use, but really what we're looking for is having 60% ground cover whenever those cattle come off. And with limited opportunities for growth, we may need to have them off a little bit earlier to make sure that happens. So far in the Southern Plains, it's been a very quiet year in terms of diseases and insects. We've seen just a little bit of leaf rust out there, but not much, and I don't think much of it made it through this cold snap. Very little foliar disease. Really haven't had any aphid or green bug problems to speak of, so it's been a quiet year. The one thing we could start see showing up is maybe some wheat spindle streak in north central Oklahoma, where we can have that issue in non-resistant varieties. The type of year we've had with the cool conditions kind of favor that soil-borne disease. And the key there is to know your variety, know whether or not it's resistant, and if you have that issue showing up, next year plant a resistant variety.